start highlighting. So when you think about highlighting, you think about, okay, so why am I highlighting? So the idea is that the highlight, you want to lighten the hair, but you don't want to lighten all the hair, right? So you are going to figure out a way that you could do partial, a certain percentage of the hair lighter, okay? And so this is what it's gonna look like as you get started. So I'll show you how to do your sections, and then you're gonna use foil in order to control the hair, okay? And so this is pretty much how we're gonna always section, and I'll show you that, and then you guys will section up. So in the front, it doesn't really matter how you start to section, how you part it. You part it either way, doesn't matter. It's mostly the back is what's always the same. Okay, so any questions about that? Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. More clips. Of course, I couldn't find the doll I was looking for, so we'll use this doll. Okay. So you can use whatever comb you want for this part, but then you'll have to use a metal tail comb. You start working. So she's already in the center. So we'll keep her in the center. And then you're going to go to the top of the ear. Okay. And you want to make sure you don't go behind the ear. You want to be at the top of the ear. Same thing on the other side. Right at the top of the ear. Okay, so in the back, you're going to make 3 channels, one down the center, and then it leaves 2 on the sides. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Okay, so you're going to do your best to go to balance, keep it balanced from side to side. Okay. So what I mean by that is you want your side sections to be about the same width. Okay, so if you make it the same in the center, it'll be about the same width. Okay, so once you section it and you get it nice and centered, then you can just do it right where the top of the ear starts. That's where you want to go to, in the center, okay? We consider this, doing this amount, a half of a head, okay? And so for highlights, if you did about a half a head, this would get you highlights all throughout the top of the head, okay? If you did more, then the highlights would extend down deeper into the hair. If you did less, it would be just a little kiss of light on the top. Okay, so it depends on what your client is looking for. Will determine how much you do. Okay, so then you're going to connect these. The reason why I want you to connect them is so that we know that they match up. Okay, just like with the perming, you're going to connect the dots. Okay. Okay, can y'all see that? And so also you want to make sure that it's balanced. So when you do your highlights will lay at the same place. So if you have one side higher or lower, your highlights will be lower on one side. So you kind of be on a tilt. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get it to where it is balanced. Okay, all about balance. Any questions about sectioning so far? Everybody got that down? Okay. So the next step is going to be getting your products together for this procedure. So you're going to need some gel. Okay, I want you to have two things of gel. Okay, I want you to have one that you're going to use as your simulated product for your lightning, and the other one I want you to use that you have to have is going to be securing the foils. Okay, so you need to have both of these in two separate containers because I want you to use your muscle memory. So I want you to you're going to use one container and one brush to secure, and then your other bowl and brush will be to apply the product, the lightener, the simulated lightener. Make sense? So I don't want you just to have one bowl and use just one bowl. Okay, you have two. Okay?
Ms. Knowles?
Yes.
So you want us to use gel and not shaving cream?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. For highlights, we use gel. Okay. The shaving cream just doesn't work in the foils. So get some gel. sure you put your gloves on. Okay, so we always start in the back. Not working for this one. Lower a little bit. Just see the top. Okay, so you always want to start at the bottom of your section. That's really important. It's going to make sure it makes it so much easier not to work on top of yourself. And so you're going to use your foils. Sorry about this. I just have my foils. I don't know what to do with them. Foils. You're gonna have your foils. You have your box of foils. So remember, I think if you rip them in half, you can get a 4-inch foil, like 4-inch by 10-inch foil. Okay. Two different sizes that we use. This one we call speed foiling, and this technique will use 2 pieces of foil for each highlight. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do today. So this one is 4 inches, I believe, by 10 inches. This one might be 8, but for your box of foils, I believe it's 8 inches by 10 inches. If you fold them in half, you'll get the right amount for the speed foil. Okay. Okay, any questions so far? So you're going to weave, and in order to weave, you need your metal tail comb. Okay, you should have at least 1 or 2 different depth, thickness of the teeth. I like a finer teeth. Some people like a wider teeth, but for me, I like to really get in there and get the hair really nice and smooth before I weave. And I feel like a wider teeth doesn't do that. But so it's personal preference. You'll come to figure out what you like and what you don't like. Okay. So when you weave, you're going to weave right at the hairline. Okay. So what I mean by that is you're going to actually use your comb and you're going to hit the scalp and lift up. Okay. And then you're going to get a nice fine weave, and you're going to stay within your subsection. Okay. Your parting. Okay. And that's how you're going to weave. Can you all see that? Is it too shiny? Okay, so that's going to be your weave. So when you weave, you can always look at it too and see what it looks like. See how it's nice and fine. Okay, so you're just going to have to practice, and this is what this is about: is practicing your weave. Okay, does it help? I turn the light down a little bit. Right, the light is right on. Let's try that. Okay. You try to see, let's see it one time. So you're going to hit the scalp each time, and then you're going to lift up. Hit scalp and lift up. Okay. And by doing that, it allows you to get your foil closer to the scalp. Okay. You see how close I can get? Whereas if you did it in the air, you're going to be way further from the scalp. Okay. So also you can look at another way. You put your foil underneath. Put your foil underneath and you can see how close you are as well. Okay. See how close that is? Whereas if I weaved it up in the air, I wouldn't be able to get that close. Make sense? Okay, so once you have your weave and you like it, then you get your first gel, which is going to be just use as a gel. That's what it actually is, not stimulated. And you're going to use, I like to use a smaller brush for the gel. And then I use a regular size brush for the simulated lightning. Okay? That makes sense? So you do your weave. Section it out. Grab your gel. Put your gel right underneath the hair that you have weaved out. Grab your first foil, put it right underneath, right, and lay it right on top of the gel. Lay your hair down. Okay, you can drop the hair at that time. Come back with your simulated bleaching product, and you're going to go about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. Okay, and you're going to apply your simulated lightning. Okay, you can put your hand underneath and apply, continue applying your lightning. Now you're hoping your hair won't be this long, but if it is, you still have to control the hair. So I'll get a bit more lightener. There's different ways to go about this, but I like to do from underneath. I'm going to grab the ends of the hair. I'm going to fold it in half or so, and then attach the hair, making sure I get good saturation. Okay. Once you have good saturation, you're going to take your second foil, and you're going to match it up. Okay, and then tap it down so you get good adhesion. Okay, because you don't want these sliding around. Okay, when you slide around, you're going to end up with bead marks, and nobody likes bead marks, right? Okay, any question about that so far?
So you don't.
Sorry, Ms. Knowles,
Oh, sorry.
why are we applying this gel again underneath just for the foil to stick?
So yes, so if you don't put anything down there, it's going to be very difficult for you to control the foil and keep the foil from slipping around.
So right now we're only doing a half a head of highlight?
Yes.
Okay. But is this like something we do on real humans too, or are we just doing it because of the doll?
You do this on real humans.
Okay.
Okay, so your next section is going to be about between 1/4 of an inch and a half an inch up. Okay, that'll be your next section. Okay, so I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to weave it, same as before. Then I'm going to put my foil on. without gel. Okay, so foil on without gel. Then I move around.
Oh.
Where'd my foil go? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
Especially when you first start. When you
to
first
get
start
in the-
foiling, it's very difficult to manage and control all of these things that are going on in your hands. So I didn't discover that. I didn't, make this technique. I saw a stylist in a salon many, many years ago, because I wasn't taught this in a salon. We had to learn how to manage the foil. And so he had been in the business a long time. And I'm like, what is he doing? He was using gel to control the foil. And I'm like, that doesn't look very professional, but it sure makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I started teaching years later, I'm like, let me see if I can find a way to make it easier for students to manage the foil. Now, don't get me wrong. If you go to the American Board of Hair Colorists, they use clippies. They put a clippy on the side, put two clippies on in their speed phone. They put two clippies that are bent up, one on each side.
Mm.
Which one do you think is faster? Slapping some gel down or putting on and removing clips every single time?
And it's not going to affect the quality of the bleaching ingredient.
The gel's not touching, not even coming in contact with the glue.
Gel is only touching the hair which is underneath it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So putting my gel down. You can put the gel right on top of on the hair, of course, at the part line, but then go ahead and put a little bit on your foil. It's going to hold them better. Grab your next foil. Try to match it up best you can so they line up, because you don't want to get in the way too much of your other foil. So you already have to kind of fold at the part line. So if you keep these lined up as best you can, there'll be less for you to have to try to manage later. Okay. So then we'll use our simulated lightener, half an inch, quarter of an inch away from the top. Okay. Grab my hair from underneath. Fold your hair in half. Make sure you have good saturation. And line up your foil. Okay. Then you're ready for your next one. So I'm going to show you. Your hair is long. You can control it the way that I just did, but then you can also hold on to the hair the entire time. Okay, and that makes it a little bit easier to control as well. Okay. So you do the weave. And I want you all to learn how to weave a fine weave, because it's really so much easier to learn how to do a large weave. So if you practice a fine weave and your client says, okay, I want it more thicker, I want it chunky, more like stripy, then you can just easily do that. But if you never learn how to weave a fine weave, it's hard to go back the other way. Once you learn how to only weave thick, you kind of only learn how to do it that way. So I want everyone to go a really, really fine weave as we practice. And then as you get better at it, get used to it, then you can start to thicken up a little bit. Does that make sense? So we always start with the fine weave because it's so much easier to do a thicker weave. Okay, any question? Okay, so I'm gonna put my gel on. Grab my foil. Lay my hair down. So once I lay my hair down, I'm gonna hold on to it. So get my gel. So I'm gonna hold on to it the entire time, so I don't have to worry about losing it, okay, and trying to gather it back. So hold on to it, apply your foil, 1/4 inch away from the top. Because remember, your bleach is going to swell. So if you have it too high, it's going to bleed out onto you. It's gonna come out of the foils. Okay, see, I'm holding it, don't let it go. And incorporate it into the rest of the hair. That way you don't have to try and find it later. Okay? So I wouldn't recommend that you all start with long hair. Find a shorter doll. Hopefully it won't be longer than your foil. If it's longer than your foil, then you have to deal with it. But hopefully you'll be able to swipe down and not go past your foil and put your other foil on top. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys start with your sections, and then when you're ready, we'll give you help on your application. Okay,
So Ms. Knopf, we're just doing those 3 sections in the back.
you're gonna do the whole head. So you're gonna start.
Yeah.
We always start in the back.
Mhm.
Always start the back center, and then you're gonna go side, side, and when you do the sides, you're gonna keep that same horizontal partings all the way up so they match up. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna get just smaller. You get like a little triangle right here at the top of each back side. Okay, maybe you'll just do one little tiny weave by the time you get there. Then when you get done with that, you'll go and you'll start at the bottom of at the top of the ear up to the part line.
Okay.
Okay, so this will take you, this probably will take you, if you do nice fine sections and a nice fine weave, like it should probably gonna take you the whole class period.
Okay.
Okay, but it'd be good
Miss
practice.
So for the triangular sections in the back, can you explain how you'd like them to deal with the foils, considering their section's gonna get smaller? Do you want them to fold the sides a little bit?
Yeah, so after you, so like for example, here, I'm a little bit beyond my part line, right? So I'm gonna make a little line, and then I'm going to fold. But don't worry about trying to fold as you go. Fold when you finish the whole entire section, because this section will be already folded on itself, right? So you're gonna start this one, you're gonna go all the way up, then they'll lay out on the sides, and then when you get finished with the whole section, then you'll take your comb and you will bend it, fold it together so that you can do your front. And to be honest, you really don't even have to do the back side, you're just gonna do the front side, because this is gonna be only in the way in the front. That makes sense?
Sorry, how much hair should be between like the little fine weaves that we're highlighting?
Between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Good questions. So other things will come up. You'll have other questions to ask, not a problem.